Right, g'day guys. Welcome back to How to Run a Fitness Business. I'm your host, Dan Hespe, presented by Onya. Today I'm here with Kris McSherry, the owner and operator of Funktional Fitness in East Kilbride. We cover a couple of good... fucked it up. Couple of good topics today. We focus on comparison and how it can be good, but in general it can not be the best thing. How to build and sustain a team, as well as the advantages of small group PT, and then we touch on how hard it actually is to own and operate a gym. So stay tuned and check it out. I'm just going to leave that in, all those fuck-ups in there. Right, well, thanks for joining me, Kris. For those who don't know, Kris McSherry from Funktional Fitness, a functional fitness studio here in Glasgow, East Kilbride, just down the road, pretty much Glasgow, hop, skip and a jump. But yeah, so if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, give us a rundown of your facility, what it is you do, and just kind of some brief numbers of, how long you've been doing this and how your gym runs.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on, first and foremost. Pleasure. So yeah, my name is Kris McSherry. I am a gym owner, functional fitness training through in East Kilbride. So we've been open 5 years. I've been working in fitness for about 11 years now, just over that. So that started 11 years ago, coaching MetaFit classes in church halls with nobody turning up, sometimes two people turning up. And then led me into qualifying as a personal trainer through my HND at college, getting a full-time job, working within a group training space. Got to a stage where I get busy enough and I wanted to make the jump, and I done so, which is the best decision I'd ever made, because now we're 5 years down the line. The gym's running really well and staff that we have in there are incredible. Very content within my work-life balance. Difficult at times, which I'm sure we'll go on to explain parts of that as well, but yeah, it's been great. We've got two separate programs running, so we've got a small group training model which runs, and then we've got the bigger kind of conditioning team training model, which would run over two separate spaces. And now we're kind of starting to branch out online, and we've got membership running online as well, and kind of coaching performance through that channel. And then also being part of another health and wellbeing business, which is in the same space. And we've got a site through in Hillington as well, which is Soul Suites, and hopefully some people listening maybe heard or have maybe been. So things are very, very busy. I have a 21-month-old little boy at home as well who's running ragged, so that makes things interesting. My partner's two kids as well, and yeah, so trying to be the best businessman, put a roof over the heads and create a sustainable income has always been my goal, and now having to do that and provide for others is a nice bit of pressure. I probably do like a bit of pressure. I think that brings out the best in people. I think it's bringing out the best in me, and yeah, so that's where we're at just now. I've got a good balance between work, my own training, looking after my own health, and trying to be the best parent and partner that I can.
Nice,
so
mate. It's good. Happy days. So from a gym perspective, how did you get the ball rolling with that? So you've been doing it for 5 years now. You kind of went through the whole process that most people in the fitness industry do. They kind of just stick their toe in the water, test it out. They kind of go, right, okay, yep, I like the fitness industry. I want to be involved. Generally, it progresses from someone being interested in fitness themselves, and then they kind of go into it. And then you took the plunge to get your own facility. How did that go? Was it find a place and just go, yep, sign a lease, let's do it? Or was it just more thought out? Well, what was it?
It's almost relatable to people's fitness journey. It's like the time was never ever perfect. The time will never be perfect, but you need to do something, you just need to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was really happy in the space that I was in. Maybe just outgrown it slightly. So I had my own group training model running there. The guy that owned it had owned the space, had his own group training model. Not to say we were clashing heads, but just got to a point where we knew we had to go all in together or it wasn't going to work out. And I'd looked at maybe taking the unit next door, but things just didn't pan out. So
and was this just like a small group PT type thing?
Yes, kind of similar to what we do. It was just more group training. It wasn't small group. It wasn't like kind of team training sessions.
Just like class based.
I mean, this is like 10 years ago. So I mean, we both had similar amount of clients almost, and it was just too much to have us running two separate businesses, and I don't think owning that space, he wanted me to be doing that much longer. So the option was maybe to go full time with him, but the offer just wasn't right, and I thought like I need to make the plunge. So I actually didn't have a lot of time to prepare. So I probably had about 8 weeks between like, can you sign this contract and work here full time, and me opening this gym. So I think it's often who you know, isn't it? It's not what you know, it's who you know. So I managed to get in a contact that had a space, and we walked about, and he showed me the first space, and I was like, shit, this is not it. If this is what he's got to show me. And then he was like, but come on in here and I'll show you this space. And then as soon as I got in there, I was like, wow. I mean, it was like rusty building, cracked tiles, like it was derelict. And I was just like, could see it. I was like, this is perfect. And he's like, that way. My mate's dad's like, no, he's like, what do you mean it's perfect? I'm like, that's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
So like the vision was there, and I was like, cool, where do I sign? So I had help from family to get the ball rolling, and without that help, it wouldn't have been possible.
And that I feel like that takes some balls as well to be like have your family put money up for you to start a business. It's like, it's tough.
If you knew me back then, Dan, I wasn't the guy I am today. I was fucking stupid. So, maybe they were as stupid. Maybe they were as stupid believing in me. But obviously, they must have had faith that I could do it. So we signed the lease and then just got to work. Like, I mean, I would finish my shift and then I would go over there and like the windows and stuff were boarded up, and I was in like sweeping the floors before we could get the flooring laid and stuff. So I was like 16, 17 hour days for a couple of weeks to try and continue servicing the members that I had. Because obviously I wasn't ready to then be like, right, we're moving. So I had to continue, keep that ball rolling, and then I was over trying to get the next place set up. So it was a really quick process. But again, it was contacts and connections. So for anyone listening that's maybe thinking about it, I actually had a message yesterday from a guy who's looking to qualify and get a gym. And he's asked for a bit of help. And it's like, they lean on people and get help, not even just from people in this industry, but the contacts I managed to gather from like, I mean, all the trades that I needed, companies that stocked the equipment, companies that made the equipment.
I know, I think that's one of the real benefits of the fitness industry, is because generally the people you're training are pretty successful people or pretty well-off people, or they've got their own businesses, or they've got a connection with someone, or their brother has a building company that can help you. It's a great networking opportunity being in the fitness industry, because you interact with all walks of life. Like you've got a doctor that you're training here, and then you've got someone that can get you a discount at bloody Foot Locker or wherever, you know what I mean, like at JD Sports or whatever. Like there's spectrum
everything
of
in
the
between,
network.
and that's almost why I love my job so much, and I don't want to ever stop coaching completely, because I just love being in the room, and I'm like, there's somebody at one end of their fitness journey and someone at a total complete opposite end, somebody that does X and somebody that does Y, and then they come together in a room and they just train hard, and I love that. So I think the connections was probably one of the biggest things that helped and get the ball rolling. And then friends as well helped me so much at the time. Like they just, I mean, I basically had everything set, everything painted, everything, the rig was up, the flooring was down, and the kit got delivered. So it's like my mate's dad company, my mate turned up with this truck. He was a HGV driver, actually works for us now. He's a coach. And he came up with this massive big truck on a Saturday morning when he wasn't actually working, opened the back end and all this kit just got offloaded, and I had like 25 mates there. I can remember the big 20-metre roll of turf came, and my cousin and one of my pals were down trying to lift this on a wheelbarrow and all that. It was fucking chaos. I wish we had the money to get it documented, because it would have been golden to watch, especially looking back at it. So they all came down. I remember this Saturday, like there was just tunes blasting, and like I different mates from different groups, football team, school friends, a bunch of boys I hung about with, and I'm still friends with them all. And everyone just came together and just turned around. This guy's building a bench, this guy's knocking up a ski erg, guys are taking the rubbish away. I think I know it wouldn't have been possible without such amazing connections that I had, and amazing people that helped me. And the same when we opened the small group and got that program up and running, it was the same scenario. Like folk just chipped away. So I mean, it maybe pays to try and be the best you can and be helpful, because I like to think I give myself to people as much as I can. I really do try and help people, and so I mean, something else happened to me last night, similar to what we're talking about now. And one of the members has offered to really help us out. We're getting a bit of work done in the space, and he's really offered to help me out. Made such an amazing offer. I said to him, I didn't reach out to you because I need or I want. I was hoping to get a wee deal. I was just like, listen, you're in the facility, like we want to pass business around, and he's done something really nice for me, and I was pure taken back. Right, made my day. And I was like, that's so nice to be able to do that, and
that's what you feel like is the real payoff. Doing this sort of work rather than it being financially, rather than being like, I made an extra whatever this year. It's more like, something like that is what gets you.
He's obviously appreciating what we do for him and gives something back. And I'm just like, do you know what? See, when you're nice, genuine, authentic, like, I don't think you can fake that. And when you find that, like, that was so amazing with him. So it just bounces off. So I think me trying to be the way I want to be, which is a good person, obviously came back to help me because so many people clubbed in and helped. So I'm just forever grateful for them because I wouldn't get up and running without them.
Absolutely.
Because I can't build for shit.
I know. Even back home, like all my mates, like I've got a running joke that whenever there's anything wrong with my car, I'm just like, surely it's the dipstick, mate. You got to check the dipstick, don't you? Bloody hell. And then my mate that actually knows something about a car is like, fucking hell, he's changed that. But yeah, so when we chatted previously, when I came down to your joint to train, we were talking about how you had kind of the conditioning set up first, and then you started doing the small group PT stuff as well. And you were saying that ends up being more like a higher percentage of revenue for you because obviously it's a high ticket item. There's a bit more that goes into it. If you wouldn't mind kind of touching a little bit on that and why you went into that and how it's kind of helped the business and shaping the direction of the business.
I think to get me there, first COVID probably helped a lot. So we get shut, and when I look at the way the business ran for the first 9 months before we get closed down, we were only open for 9 months. Part of me almost thinks, thank God, because it was so poorly ran.
It was
so
just
that forced us to systemize the place a bit more. That's a word I think coaches are loving to just throw about. I think so. Everyone's like coaches, gym owners, everyone's systems. So I'm like. Wee Jean, who's 40 years old, doesn't want a system. She wants a nice place to train and wants to come and spend time away from home. So that word gets thrown about, but it forced us to basically get a booking system, which we didn't have before, that captures like their bookings, their membership, captures their activity, and this is all the stuff that we're now managing better. So that forced us into doing that. So that was a really good kind of stepping stone. And then I hired a business mentor. And he pushed me to start a small group. He basically said that the way we're running, like we're not going to be running very long. So it was Ollie Marcham that I worked with one-to-one for a couple of months, and then moved into the program that him and Jens have now, which is the PFCA, and I worked there for a good while with them. And Ollie basically just gave me the push. And I don't think if I was so influenced by him and how his business runs and how he operates as an individual, I would have done it. So for me, that's important when getting a coach for any walk of life. Like I need to be inspired by them. Maybe that's just me, and that's fine. But I'm totally inspired by him, and that pushed me. I wouldn't have done it without him because it cost us tens of thousands, probably pushing past 50 to nearly get the place up and running. So it was a massive risk. Obviously, we were still during COVID at this point. I mean, we were building, making the space during COVID, during lockdown, and we've just flooded this place in to try and generate a new product. So I wouldn't have done it without that push and that guidance. And then obviously, as probably a bigger percentage of revenue within our business, and it just run most coaching facilities will be the same now. We'll have both models. I think that benefits us is that the timetable for us is so vast across both programs. So that's probably one of the biggest selling points that we have. And thinking about going on this podcast, I was like, I'm going to sound like I think my gym's the best ever. But if I don't believe it is, then how can my members believe? So of course, trained with you guys down today at 5. So thanks to Ross for having us down. And of course, I hope I'd imagine he thinks his gym's the best in town. But the guy across the road thinks his is the best in town. But of course, we all need to believe that. And
absolutely.
we need to have that vision. So, but for us, I think our timetable is very competitive across all the market within East Kilbride or in surrounding areas, because we've got such a vast timetable between both spaces.
And what does that timetable look like?
2 early morning. So for downstairs team training space is 2 early mornings, a mid-morning, a lunchtime, and then 1 or 2 evening sessions, 5 days per week.
And that's a big space. How many people do you get in those classes? Like,
Well, we've got a fitness
capacity?
event in 4 weeks, so less than 4 weeks. So it's a big in-house competition with the members, and there's 80 signed up, and there'll be 80 people across 6 events downstairs in that space. We had 92 members in there in January 2020 in one session, 92 people. So, I mean, it's never like that anymore because obviously the timetable we have, but that's a big space. So like typically Tuesday night, tonight will be one of our high rock sessions, we'll have like 40 in there tonight.
Good.
And then the upstairs timetable still pretty vast as well. That's there's 2 early mornings, there's a lunchtime, and then 3 evening sessions, 4 days per week as well.
And then what sort of cap on numbers there for small group PT? Is it like limited to like 5 people, 10 people?
We
or
run
what
it
is
at like a 40-1 ratio because we're really greedy and want to make as much money as we can. I'm only kidding. 5-1.
Yeah.
It was 4 and then we moved it to 5.
Well, if the demand's there and people want to do it, then it's like, well, why not?
So, and then, like, obviously we'll do a bit of market research, and we know like there's other local facilities that are doing it like 10-1 and 12-1, and others are doing it at 6-1. Others are doing it at 4. So for us, the space we've got, the amount of coaches we have, there's 5-1. So it means the busiest sessions, the peak times, there's 3 coaches in there.
Yeah.
So typically 5-1 is what we always make sure we tell people is the ratio when they sign up, but most often than not, it's probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, nice, because it's definitely one of those things where it's like, it's good having the 2 options, because then it's almost like you're giving people like an opportunity to graduate to the next class.
That was what I was thinking. That was.
Yeah, you kind of like, someone comes to you, they go, oh, I'm not too, downstairs looks intimidating, I don't really want to do that. You go, okay, great, small group PT. And then after they do that for a month, 2 months, and they keep seeing downstairs every time they go upstairs, they're like, oh, actually, oh yeah, I might do that. And then they go, oh, I might jump in on a Saturday or something like that. And then before you know it, they're in and they're loving it, and they're like, their whole life's changed, their whole personality's changed. They're wearing a bloody Built for Athletes backpack. They got everything going.
Yeah, it's funny, like, when you say that as well, because I think that small group model can be for 2 individuals at a different end of the fitness journey. So for people that are really timid, shy, nervous, haven't been in a gym before, amazing program, small group, like more coaching contact time, more help out with the gym, because a big part of that service, and I think where I try and hold a lot of the value is the care they get out with that, because they get assigned a personal trainer who works with them out with that. So great for somebody who's new, but also great for somebody who's really taking a fitness journey seriously. Better opportunity to get more coaching time, like do some kind of more bespoke strength stuff, monitor their training through their app that we use, and then again have the help of a coach, like if they've got an event coming up, or they're trying to maybe delve into a new aspect of their fitness or progress another aspect of their fitness, will be able to get more help. So it can be great for both ends. I mean, I've got like MMA fighters and stuff that do the small group program at a really good level. So, but again, you've got people that are totally new and have never been. So you can help both ends with that program as well. And it means people often do graduate from the program downstairs. Like, a lot of the time, they just want more coaching and they need more help. And like, well, cool, we can help you now. Whereas previously, I think that we had like a one-trick pony. That's what we do. We didn't have the manpower, nor like it wasn't not worth. That sounds terrible. Like, there's not essentially just not paying enough for a coaching service as well as everything they were getting, and then they would just leave us and go to an online coach. Because that took a massive boom just after COVID, and go and pay an online coach 150, 200, 250 a month because they required more coaching. Whereas now we can fix that problem and probably be cheaper than most online coaches still, and probably be cheaper than most personal.
Your gym and everything.
And includes, like, we've got open gym as well, so a lot of our members don't have their commercial gym contracts anymore.
It's crazy when like there'll be people that are doing things like turf games and taking high rocks really seriously, super competitive, doing things like athletics and stuff like that. And yeah, they'll spend like 250 quid a month on an online coach, and then they'll spend another 100 quid a month on an open gym membership somewhere. And it's like, that's a big investment. Obviously, spend your money however you want, and if you're really into it, go for it. But it's like, if you find the right small group PT or the right class-based program in a gym, then you can get just as much out of it. I
mean, that's always been
for 100, 150 quid all in. You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's always been the idea for us, is to be basically. So I've said that I one-to-one coached for years as a personal trainer, and like what we can offer in that package from small group is incredible. And it's, for me, it feels like you're still coaching people one-to-one, because when I would coach someone one-to-one, we'd do a set, we'd sit down, we'd have a drink, talk about their dinner, talk about their kids, talk about the dogs. 3.5 minutes, right, let's go. And even when you were being strict on rest times and stuff, like, by the time somebody's had their rest period and they can take that on their own, you've coached another 3 people, and then you're like, right, you're back in here, let's do this now. And I feel like they still get the same amount of coaching contact and coaching time as they would one-to-one, but they're paying like well less than half the price. So I feel like it can deliver so much value with both the products that we serve, which again should allow us to hopefully build our business from.
Absolutely. And then one thing I want to touch on was coaches and building a team. So that's always something that I think most gyms that have been around for a while, they start to grow. Obviously the founder like yourself realizes, shit, I can't just do 40 to 50 hours of classes a week from now on until forever. So it's like, no, I need to start getting staff in. How do you find coaches? How do you vet coaches? How do you keep them on board? What's your kind of approach around that? How many coaches do you have at the moment as well, actually?
Hang on a minute.
Oh no, stumped you.
I always do. 5? Maybe 6. There'll be 7 soon. So I think for me, like, worked alongside them for a long time. So there's been like, Nathan's been on and off for years, but hopefully that's him for good. Ryan's been with us for like 7 years. Daniel's been with us like 4. He's been with us, I think she's maybe like 2 or 3 years in now. So I don't have a big turnover. We did work up to like 11 at one point, but they weren't ever staff. So the way I originally worked was the boys came with me. There was 4 of us, and basically they just didn't pay any rent for BT. I would let them put a premium on their personal training packages to come to the group training, so they would get to charge an extra 50 quid a month, and I'll get you access to the classes, and I would let them keep that. So they didn't pay any rent, they got to add a premium on and keep it, but they done around about 10 hours of coaching a week, which worked for a certain point, but like, there was no skin in the game for them. There was nothing for them to just get up and pack their bags and leave. And at this point we were all young, so that was fine, but like, it was getting to a point where like, you need to buy a house, buy a flat, like take life a bit more seriously. And if anyone knows, being self-employed, that can be really difficult. Again, probably a big push from Ollie and having a mentor there was like, no, you need to have staff. Like, you're not a business owner. So many, and I'm not slandering anyone or slagging anyone, so many people say they're running a business, but for me personally, don't feel like I was running a business until I had staff. I just was a glorified.
You had yourself. I was built yourself a job.
I was glorified self-employed. I was still self-employed because I was still doing so much. But now I have staff. It's like, oh, I'm trying to manage a business here now. It does feel like that. So, which is amazing, and even to this day, I'm grateful to be able to do that, because I'm able to actually create opportunity for people, and they still are building their own businesses at a very good rate. While they work alongside us, and like, they're able to go and get flats. They bought houses, like buying their first house, like, and the staff were grateful for that. And I didn't realise what an impact that would have on them. But actually having like a pay slip every month for them was so beneficial, and that was again always push. And I don't think again I'd have done it if I wasn't so inspired by him personally to just follow his lead and do what he said. So. So they're all fully employed. Hours-wise, it's not like they're employed. They've got a full-time salary, so to speak, but they're not contracted into 40 hours a week, because they would just burn out, and the quality would be poor. So we run staff meeting bi-weekly. They coach anywhere probably between around about 15 hours, give or take, and then they're probably maybe up to 10 hours worth of external kind of client care, like bits and bobs here and there of cleaning and running about. So I reckon maybe about 30 hours a week. And they don't have to pay any rent for their personal training. That's the way I work things. But I know other gym owners work it differently and whatnot, but that's just the way that we work things. And I think that's good. I probably still could have taken a small fee for rent, and I think that would have been fair for PTing. But I want to give them the opportunity to build their business as much as they can. Yeah, exactly, so me giving them a wee bit, I know they'll probably and I know they do give me a wee bit back, and they're great for me. So times if my training's picking up or I'm prepping for an event and I need to scale back my hours, like they pick up the slack, they work hard, as a team, and they're all close knit. Like one of my coaches has been my best friend for years, one of my best mates. He's changed career and came and worked for us. Ryan's been with us for years, went to school with Ryan, we've always been pretty close. Daniel's one of the only staff members that came for an interview, and I hope he's listening because he'll get a laugh. He came in a big puffy red jacket, and I was just like, oh, who the fuck is this kid? And he's a good few years younger. I was like, fuck, man. I didn't think that. I was just laughing, and I was like, oh, fuck's sake, here we go. Because I hadn't done a proper interview yet.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, how do I interview
they would always
someone?
It was always just kind of chit-chat. Like when I spoke to Ryan, this probably like 8-9 years ago, it was like a coffee and Costa, and like, how you doing? How's your PT going? Like, this is what I'm needing help with. But with Daniel, he came in with his CV or his certificates and diplomas and whatever else, and we sat and had a conversation. I felt like it was a bit of a punt because I didn't know him, and all the stuff I had known. But that's like striking gold, that guy, because he's like one of my really close friends now. He's very loyal. I trust him a lot. He works really hard. He's great at what he does. He's with his partner now that he met at the gym. They've been together for years. They've got a flat together. And we became like a wee family, and that's the way I kind of treat the staff. Like my house is an open door. Daniel was up for mine to come and have a coffee and sit and look through his business and see if I could help him. The other week and just ask some questions. Like Cammy comes with me and takes Blake a walk while I was doing a talk with a company in the city centre. Cammy takes a wee man out and takes him a walk. Nice. Like I go up to Nathan's house and walk his dog when he's on holiday. Like all the staff chip in, and we are really like a family. And
it's almost like it comes back to how you're talking about how you got the gym started. It's like it comes back to your network. So that's how you find good coaches, is it's through your network of a friend or someone who's already involved with the gym that understands the place.
Yeah, like Koi. So and then Koi, she was a client. And I just said to her one day, she was in this, she was like, have you ever thought about being a coach? And she was like, I can't remember if she said yes or no. She was like, a bit taken back. And I was like, I just think you'd be great. And then she had a job, but she hated it. And I think that's why I said to her. And then like a couple of years later, she's like one of the bricks in the wall now. She's like so important to the place, and she's flying as well within her own business, and she looks a lot happier in what she does day to day. And again, just another member of the family. So for me, one of the most fulfilling parts of my job is being able to give them sustainability of a monthly wage that they can rely on every month. And for me, I'm like, it's a lot of responsibility, but it makes me very fulfilled.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest things to be proud of as well. I think, like we were talking before when we were eating, we were saying like...
It's a good sandwich.
Oh, it was a cracking sandwich. I've probably had a few burps into this microphone. But we're kind of saying where it's like, if you're getting into the industry of owning gyms, I think anyone getting into it realises that you're not really into it to make millions and millions of pounds. It's more like you're in it to do it, enjoy it, have something that you're interested in building the community. And then it's more things like you just mentioned, like seeing your staff grow and be able to get flats, get houses and all that kind of stuff. And you can sit back and go, oh, I'm proud that I was the one that was able to build this thing that then allows them to do things and live their life and build their business. Like I think that's the thing that most gym owners would say that they fulfills them more than adding an extra 20 grand to the bottom line or whatever the next year. Obviously it's business, everyone's in there trying to make money, but it's like they're the things that you sit and go, oh fuck, actually that's pretty good.
It's very fulfilling. And that and between that and then seeing the members or having a breakthrough with a member or them getting a good result or somebody achieving something, you know, I'm starting to get to a point where I'm like taken back by it now, where I can look and I can be proud, whereas previously I just couldn't be. I was just like, so I was so caught in comparison. There's like 16 gyms in East Kilbride, right, including all the big chains and the hotel gyms and whatever else. But there's probably exactly, but there's maybe say 5 box gyms like ours in East Kilbride. Then I go down to Fly today and here, there and everywhere. My mates got a gym, Jerry's gym down in Glasgow, which is amazing. My coach's gym, been through there, and then I used to be always caught in the comparison of they're doing X, Y, Z, and they've got whatever else. But for me, it's like now understanding and probably coming to terms with there's maybe a ceiling on owning a gym in terms of how like revenue and how well you can do. I mean, the sky's the limit. You look at some of these gyms down south that are branching out and they've got franchise or branch number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. They're pushing out clothes, supplements, everything else. Like, yeah, the sky is the limit, but I think it's maybe not. I think my point here was right. It's not as profitable as you maybe think it would be. Just when outgoings start to stack up. I mean, like my outgoings have more than tripled from when I first got the gym, and the revenue's not tripled. Do you know what I mean? So many things I signed that lease and I was like 24 or something. 24. Naive. Told you don't need to read this. Just sign it, mate. You'll be sound. Just pay your rent. And now that's come back to bite us in the bum. And like, some months are difficult and I've struggled to keep your head above the water. And I've had to get help to keep the place running. Or I mean, there was months and months and months across the last 5 years, probably, but 12 months if totaled up. I didn't get paid because the staff need to get paid first.
Of course.
Like, it'll be the same next week. I'll be the last one to get paid. So there's months and months of me not getting a wage, which is difficult, especially now when you've got family and you've got you're partly responsible for paying the bills, and then you can't take a wage. But it's easy to, and I'm not saying my members do it, but I've done it before. Like, you've been in a barber's or you've been anywhere and you're like, 10 quid a haircut, and do you do 100 haircuts a day? It's easy to look at, like, if they had 100 members paying this, then they make this. But I think the reality for most small business owners is like, most often than not, they're trying to keep their head above the water. Maybe you get a wee breakthrough, but at some point in their journey, they've probably had severe struggle. And I think
Absolutely.
they have.
I think I'm glad you touched on all that, because I think there'd be people that would see your Instagram and go, oh, busy classes, like, shit, this is great, doing well, you're training for high rocks, you're doing all this kind of stuff. Like, people would probably look at you and go, oh, you fucking got it switched on. Like, as humans, we've got that bias of everyone else has got it figured out and I'm a fucking moron and I've got no idea what's going on. But really, we all think we're all fucking morons and we've got no idea what's going on. You know, we're just trying to figure it out. So I think it's good that you kind of highlighted that, like, you know, there'd be people. And with like the comparison thing, it's so easy to look at, you know, another business or another gym or another athlete or something like that and go like, oh fuck, they've fucking got it sorted. They're all over it. But really,
maybe just been doing it longer.
I think that's it. I think exactly.
As long as you're working hard as you can, really. I'm just thinking probably just same as fitness. That's what I'm trying to look at just now in my own training. I'm just like, maybe they've just been doing it longer because you're working really hard now. So, and it's the same. Same for business, but yeah, it's not all rosy, I think. And I think we're launching our own YouTube channel just now. We're going to have monthly kind of vlogs going up, and hopefully we get that message across, and it'll be quite real. Because the reality is, it is difficult at times, but you don't see that on social a lot, and it's easy to look and think somebody's got it all figured out and they're really switched on. But the reality is, like, even now, the last maybe week, probably been my worst spell, like, not even physically, maybe mentally. And I was speaking to my mate about it. It's like, I'm so much pressure now. Like, I can't relax. Like, my training now has got to a point where that's no longer a release. That's a bit of a stress because it's preparing towards something. So my training is no longer like, just go and release some energy. And I do still feel amazing after I train, but there's an amount of pressure added to my training at the moment
to go a certain
but that used to be my release. I'm just getting to go and training. It wasn't too programmed and you're just like having a bit of fun. That's not the case anymore, so that's really dialed in. Like, I feel like I've got no off switch. I can't release that valve just to let some pressure off. So like the pressure's really mounting up. I think, was it Sunday or something? I was doing work. I'm like, there's not fucking enough hours. Like I can't do this. I'm so tired. Like I fucked up really bad in work yesterday. I nearly flooded the soul suites upstairs. Well, I did flood the soul suites upstairs, and it all leaked into the gym and down into the gym while there was a class on. Mate, I went to make my lunch and I burnt my bagel twice before I got it right. So I had such a shit Monday. Like I could have burst into tears yesterday. I was just like, I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just like tears of rage at myself. I'm just like, fuck, and I can't get all this done. Like there's so much to do between the house and kids and fucking try to walk with dogs, and I've got this work to do, that work to do. I need to train. Like, so the pressure was really mounting up. But then I'll put up an Instagram post, and it's not that I'm not being authentic, but I'll just highlight a wee clip of my training yesterday, and everyone's like, "Oh, that guy's trained in that." It's a good day for him. But the reality is, like, sometimes you're like fucking really up against it, and then this last week I've been like really up against it. Like the pressure I'm feeling for I don't know what the reason is, but I'm feeling like any point I could either have a panic attack or can pass out and sleep. So that probably is the reality for me running a business. So the comparison's a big thing, and I'm just trying to keep my feet in the ground, and hopefully somebody watching this can go, it's alright if sometimes you feel like you're up against it. Like that's really normal to feel like that, and that's certainly do it just now. Absolutely.
And I think like as business owners, you do end up back to that kind of that comparison thing. You will, and with how much content stuff's out there now, you'll watch something, you'll watch, I don't know, everyone will know who like Alex Hormozi is. Like you'll see like Alex Hormozi and you're like, fuck, he's got it figured out. He just fucking grinds it out. He doesn't have any of these problems, all that kind of stuff. He just gets it done. But you're like, every single person goes through all this. It's like everyone's human. Everyone has weeks where you're just you're not on. Like, but you still have to be on enough to kind of keep things moving.
It's like you just can't. I just feel like I can't ever down tools. You can't, even when it's the going's rough, you still keep pushing through. And I suppose that's a blessing, maybe.
And it's a tough thing because it's like, I think every entrepreneur's goal is to get to the point where their business is like sustaining and self-sufficient, and you can just be like, right, I'm going on holiday for 4 weeks. If there's an emergency, you can get in touch with me, or I'll check in with the manager or someone from the team once a week. I think every gym owner would love the opportunity to do that and be like, right, I'm going to Spain or I'm going to Italy for 4 weeks, and I'm just going to look at my phone once a week or whatever. But in reality, it's very difficult to get to that position. And it's, it takes years. It takes, 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get to that point. And again, back to that kind of comparison thing, it's like, if you're a year and a half in, you can't compare yourself to someone that's been doing it like yourself. It's been doing it for 5 years. It's got staff, multiple systems running, that kind of stuff. It's like the only way to get through it is just to fucking wade through all the shit. Like,
you can't like that at times.
Yeah, I was listening to something the other day, and it was butcher. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like you can't. There's only so much learning you can do until you just need to learn from your own mistakes.
That's the only way I think I do learn. And really learn is by fucking something up.
Yeah. Especially like if you do something fucks up and it costs you money, you're like, fuck.
I think for me, the only way like learn from mistakes has probably been the biggest kind of thing for me to learn is just making a mistake and fucking up. But I'm actually going on holiday for 2 weeks. We're going to Florida on a big family holiday in October. And I was away for 2 weeks. So the last couple of years I've managed to get 2 week holidays, but I'll still always do work. Like this year I did have some program to do. I did some kind of sign up calls and onboarding stuff. I didn't need to, but I did. But the staff like more than handled it, and they want me to go. Like, Kris, we don't want to hear from you. Just go. But I was actually on the phone to another gym owner from East Kilbride, a serious competitor, and we were just chatting with a couple of things that we're doing together that we're kind of just making sure we get sorted. And we're talking about holiday, spoke about this very thing, and he said he managed like to go away and a family holiday there, was over in Canada, and like proper switch off and not do any work. And that might be the first time that he's done that. And I'm hoping when I go to Florida, like I will just be like looking to be nosy. A couple of things on my phone, but I know the team can more than handle it, and they don't need me to do anything. Sometimes it's been over the last 2 years more so me wanting to just out of sheer passion for like it's like my baby. I want to just know, but maybe I just need to make sure I have a bit more trust and just down tools and let them take care of it, because they can. Like my coaching hours are way down now in comparison to what they were. And if you asked me this 5 years ago, I didn't think coaching this little would be possible. But I'm still trying to keep my head in the door and do all the other things that is helping the business to stay efficient and make sure we're actually really looking after our members across both programs.
And what do you see? Sorry, big hair on my nipple. What do you see kind of as the next trend? So if you think of like fitness in general, if we go way back in the 70s, 80s, all bodybuilding, and then a girl would never touch a weight, for example, would be all like Pilates or what was it on, like the Jane Fonda, like the aerobics on the stepper and stuff like that. And then you go into the 90s and it's still kind of dominated like that. And then like CrossFit comes along, functional fitness, then there's kind of Globo gym type setup. And nowadays it's very much, there's the functional fitness wave and there's High Rocks and all these events and stuff like that. Like, what do you kind of see the trend in fitness? I kind of put you on the spot there. I didn't give any.
No. I just don't see the High Rocks wave like stopping. So I get asked a question. I didn't like ask me anything on Instagram, and somebody was asking, like, basically saying like High Rocks overtook CrossFit, and do you think that it will die down like CrossFit did? I was like, I don't think the CrossFit boom ever died down. It's definitely still there, but I do remember like that wave of CrossFit everywhere, and everyone in the gym was in Reebok, trainers doing handstands, and you're like, whoa, fucking hell. And now it's like guys on Puma trainers coming off treadmills, fucking
sweating like we were
diving into burpees. So, but I just don't see it going anywhere, because it's still very new, but in my opinion, I don't see it going anywhere, which for me is a good thing, because I love it. But I don't think CrossFit has died down. I said that in my story. I was like, as far as I'm aware, and the people I speak to, the guys that own a CrossFit gym, and like people that train at CrossFit gym, I have friends that train at CrossFit gyms, like they're still very much busy and still very much everywhere. There's just other facets that people are now doing as well as CrossFit. So I don't really see the High Rocks bug dying down either. Probably I'm noticing a lot less people bodybuilding. Like we've had a few people come into the online side of our business from a bodybuilding background who want to start training like this, because they feel it might better the health a bit more, make their training a bit more engaging, like mentally, give them a different challenge, give them a different stimulus, and just want to mix things up a wee bit. So I don't know if that bodybuilding wave has died down, but even that's probably still a big part of our programming, is like ensuring people are moving with tempo and moving correctly and using machine-based stuff. So I don't think, I just don't see the High Rocks wave dying down, but I also don't see any of it dying down. Just to actually see it all growing. Like fitness is becoming much more.
I feel like it's all like merging together. It's all meshing together. Like this whole, I mean, I fucking hate the term like hybrid, but to use that term of like hybrid, like
I had a coaching program called Hybrid Performance.
Yeah, mate, change that name. No, it's but like it's all kind of coming together. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's all, people are realizing like, oh fuck, I just do whatever I want. Like, you know,
you want to go out and ride the bike one day.
I want to go ride the bike. I'm going to deadlift. I'm going to do this. I'm going to run. Oh yeah, I want to make sure I fucking still got some pipes on me. Like I don't want to go to the beach and be like all fucking look like a marathon runner. You're like, I still want the chest out, shoulders back. You know what I mean? So, especially I think like guys our age, I think we're kind of like
that, and it does that style of training blends everything together. So you still do a bit of endurance work. You probably still move like a CrossFitter might move some barbells and do some really short, sharp, intense stuff over a course of like 9 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. You're probably going to hit longer kind of High Roxy style workouts. Then you maybe fucking go out a swim one day. Like it does incorporate everything. Then one day you do bodybuild because like you still like to get a pump on. Or
I think at the end of the day, it's just like people like to just exercise. So people like to, it's training. Like it's just fun to do different things. Like even like Ross and I, when we were chatting before, we always talk about like I feel like our age and below. So like for people listening, we're both 30. I'm about to turn 30, but we're like our age and below are going out less, drinking less, all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like our generation's the last one where it's like, let's go. If we're drinking, let's get fucking hammered type thing. Whereas like obviously there's people that do that, but it's becoming less and less. And especially in Australia, like you'll see it still a lot, but people are more interested in like, oh yeah, I'll spend 150 quid on a gym membership rather than going out every weekend, and they'll enjoy that, and they'll go to a sauna and a cold plunge and that kind of stuff, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, me and my mates just go to the pub. So no, me and my mates go do a Munro and then swim in a lock on a Sunday rather than waking up hungover.
It's that is, man. It's that question. Like, what do I see? I just see it growing. I just see fitness in general growing, health and well-being getting bigger and bigger, which I think for the west of Scotland is probably one of the best things that could happen.
Absolutely. Right, last question. I ask this to everyone. What advice would you give to someone starting all over again? Or what mistake have you made that you wish you could like redo? I know it's kind of two questions, but
the first mistake I'd make would be do your research, read your lease fully, even if it's a 50-page document you get with. So make sure you do your research, read your lease, have somebody who might know a bit more that will help you out to go over it with you. And make sure you know what everything entails with taking space on. So like, I didn't know we'd have to pay business rates. I didn't even know that was a thing. For anyone who doesn't know, it's basically like a council tax for your business. But when you pay council tax at home, like it goes towards contributing to help make sure the roads are in good condition. They fucking take your bins for you and empty your rubbish and X, Y, and Z. When you pay your business rates, which is almost like a business council tax, you don't get anything. There's like no benefit. There's nothing. You get nothing out of it. But it's just deemed what they kind of factor in the size of your space and your rent. So they come up with some calculation, deem whether you pay them or not, or how much you pay 50% of them or you pay none. So it'd be to do that because that has a big impact on us. Definitely is that we pay business rates. So basically doing your research and knowing. But I didn't have that luxury, I don't think, because it had to happen quick.
Happened so fast,
So it was like...
and you're excited as well. You're just like, oh yeah, this spot's fucking great.
I was fucking 24. I was not very clever back then. So I'd probably do your research if you have the time and like factor it on, create a proper business plan, because I didn't have the time to do that. Just started buying some kit and asked for some help. So yeah, it would probably just to do my research. Would definitely be it.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much, mate. For anyone that's in East Kilbride or Glasgow, definitely jump in and check it out, or jump into Soul Suites as well. Well, actually, we didn't touch on Soul Suites, but yeah, that's another
episode.
Another episode there. Do it from Soul Suites.
We'll go into the tubs.
We'll get in the tub.
10-minute episode in the tub.
I have to do a bit of blurring there, I think. But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Keep an eye out for Kris on YouTube. He's going to start putting out some content. So, yeah, keep an eye out. Thank you very much, mate.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.